Gorilla Tag's going to be launching a new space update this Friday. So in celebration of that, I made 3 alien models in Blender. Now me personally, I like my aliens to be mysterious. Like you don't know what it is, but you know it's alive. So I think these 3 forms perfectly match what I'm going for. Starting off with the hairball. Now this one's pretty simple if you know a bit about Blender already. So first I loaded the spear in and modified it till I was satisfied. Then I went to the physics tabs and loaded in a particle system. I changed the system to hair and then played around with it. Once I was done with that, I added in a force field to attract the hair to one side. Quick note, if you want the force field to attract, change the strength to a negative number. Now this looks pretty alien-like to me, so for the rest of the time I played around with the materials. When you're done, it should look similar to this. This looks pretty simple and it works, but we have better ones coming up. The next one is going to be the shade. This one starts off similar to the hairball by getting in the spear. But we need 2 spears. One's going to be our boundary and one's going to be our emitter. We need our boundary to be transparent so we can see what's in it. Next, I turned on the collision of the boundary so the particles are enclosed. Then I loaded up another spear, which is going to be our particles. Then I changed the particle material. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it looks pretty good for a lot of particles. Next, I loaded up a new particle system and changed the settings. Another note, for models like these, go to field weights and make sure gravity's off. Next, I changed the default particles to the particles I made. Then you can just play around with it until you're satisfied with the look. And this is looking pretty good. Now to make it look living, you're going to want to add some turbulence. Turbulence adds noise to your simulation. I just played around with it until I got a look I was satisfied with. Next, I changed the material of the emitter. And I think principled volume does a pretty good job. In the end, this was the finished product. Now this looks really good compared to the hairball, but we still have one last model coming up. And that one is the cube. Now I took inspiration for the cube from another YouTuber, Ducky 3D, but I tried to make mine on my own. So if you want to see a better one, you should probably go to his channel, link in the description. First, I loaded in my cube and changed the name to emitter. Then I loaded in another cube and made it slightly bigger because it's going to be our boundary. Next, I changed the material so we can't see it. Next, I loaded in another cube and turned it into a volume. I'll later figure out this was a mistake. Then, I turned on the collision of all the objects so the particles would bounce off of them. Then, I tested the particle system. So here's the thing. We want the particles to be able to slide between the boundary and the emitter, but if the distance between them was too thin, then the particles would spawn inside the emitter, which we don't want. So that's why the volume's there, to act as a collision factor inside the emitter. Does that make sense? No? Pay attention more in math class. Which is something I didn't do because the particles are spawning inside the emitter. But don't worry, we can just add in a new volume after the particle system has been loaded. Next, I changed the material of the cube. Then I pulled aside a spear, which is going to be our particle. We want 2 particles, with one being metal and one having a red glow. In order to achieve this glow, you have to put a bloom node into the compositor. Now that we have our particles, we can make a new particle system on the emitter. Now our particles should be spawning in the area we want them to spawn. Next, I added a lifelike force, turbulence, and then I adjusted it until I was satisfied. And now this looks pretty good, but still, I adjusted it some more until I got something like this. I added the next particle and did the same I did with the red one, and this was the result of that. But I still did some work on it because I wanted more gray particles than red particles, and in the end, I had this. think these turned out pretty well, but tell me what y'all like about them in the comments. And with that, I'll see you in the next video.